But don't you think it's funny how anytime we try to watch a movie nowadays, if we don't talk about the movie right after we saw it, we forget pretty much the entirety of the movie,
Yeah, it's weird.
or at least like most of the detail. It's like having a dream.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's why we used to watch movies 100 times.
Like, yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I would watch. Not only would I rewatch a movie 100 times, I would because I had VHS. I would just fast forward and rewind to the specific spot I wanted to rewatch.
Oh, all the time, especially once we got cable and DVR and shit and DVDs and remotes.
Yeah, man, having DVR, having cable, you got used to watching a movie about 100 times.
Oh yeah. That's why I bring it up all the time where I'm just like FX, dude. I watch so many of these movies on repeat on FX has the movies and behind the scenes of FX has the movies and
Yeah, or the
fucking
Sci-Fi Channel.
yeah, this sci-fi channel, all the fucking Halloween season thing or that sci-fi used to have where it's like here's Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2.
Yeah,
Here's
yeah,
here's Terminator and Predator and Alien.
I definitely used to watch Total Recall a lot on Sci-Fi, just because
Oh yeah.
it's one of those sci-fi
That's probably the
movies.
first time I ever saw it.
It's like a penultimate sci-fi movie. Like when you think of sci-fi, you think of sci-fi concepts. I feel like Total Recall usually is in the forefront of people's consciousness because, I mean, it's by. Oh, man, this is gonna drive me crazy if I don't look it up right now. Let's.
Verhoeven.
Yeah, no, I mean, yes, it was directed by Paul Verhoeven, who also did RoboCop, also did Starship Troopers. Um,
He only did two good movies, is what you're saying.
you think Starship Troopers is in that category of good movies?
Yeah.
Those are the only three that I
And
know of off the top of my head. I'm sure he's done more, like plenty more, but those are the three that come to mind.
RoboCop's ass.
Shut up.
I've been over this.
We've not we've been over this. I don't know how many times. Uh, but you're shit.
Your shit.
You're shit. I hate you.
Your argument is just your shit. He also did Basic Instinct, Showgirls, Black Book, The Hollow Man. God, I hate The Hollow Man. The Kevin Bacon one.
Here, hold on. So this says we can remember it for you wholesale is the name of the original book for Total Recall by Philip K. Dick, who, and this is where I was going with my uh like my stream of consciousness, is that Philip K. Dick, you probably already know this, but I'll say it for the audience, anybody listening, is that Philip K. Dick also did Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which was the novel that would later be adapted into Blade Runner. And I'm trying to see if there's any other big ones. He also did Minority Report.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Great
he
movie.
did the novel for that. He's basically like one of those science fiction writers who explored, philosophical, social questions. Um, he really liked to pick apart the nature of reality and perception, identity. I think all of those things are, you know,
Which is why we love The Twilight Zone.
it's why we love the Twilight Zone. But something like that, I think, is also like heavily explored in something like Total Recall. I often find that I think Total Recall is one of those action movies that is also like really smart. Like it's written really well and it covers a lot of like themes and motifs that make.
This this and Starship Troopers do that really well where they're dumb. They're really dumb movies, but they're really smartly written and also have philosophical stuff hidden behind all of the gore and nudity and nonsense.
Yeah, and RoboCop.
No.
Yes.
RoboCop fails.
No, RoboCop doesn't fail. RoboCop's all about is about identity.
He's a bag of goo.
He's a bag of goo. He's a bucket of bolts.
He's a bucket of bolts holding a bag of goo.
That's funny. No, but I mean, like, you're right. I mean, Starship Troopers kind of falls in that category. I feel like there's other movies that fall into that category, like I already mentioned, RoboCop. You already mentioned Starship Troopers. I feel like Demolition Man kind of like loosely fits into that a little
It
bit.
loosely fits. It's the same themes.
You know, yeah, like it's about people struggling to figure out where they fit in a society. And then Total Recall is all about identity. It's a major identity crisis. Um, it's also about like socio-political stuff. How the people from Earth come to Mars. The Martians are like they're all fucked up. I mean,
They're all mutated from the radiation and whatever else is on Mars.
they're an oppressed class. Uh, they've
They
got
look different.
they look different. It's the typical, you're a mutant, you look different, or I have power, so I'm exerting my power over you and making your life hell, and it works. It works really well. Um,
Whilst also having the Schrodinger's cat metaphor.
yeah, you want to explain that for us?
The metaphor itself or how it relates to the movie?
However, you can explain both. Honestly, it'll fill up time.
All right. Well, the Schrodinger's cat thought experiment is that there's a bottle of poison in the cat or in a box. When it's closed, both possibilities of the cat being alive and dead exist at the same time, and it's only when you open the box that you know for sure which answer is true.
Okay, and that
But that
relates to the
while the
movie
box is while the box is closed, though, they both exist simultaneously at the same time.
because you can't know if both options are true.
Exactly. In this movie, the thought experiment or the way that it connects is sorry, I have a little hinge in my throat. Um, that we never really know for sure whether uh what is his name in this movie? Something
Quaid,
dumb like
Dennis.
yeah,
It's like Quaid.
Quaid.
It's not Dennis Quaid. It's Douglas
I
Quaid.
was about, I was about to say Dennis Quaid's an actor.
I always want to say Dennis Quaid. It's not. It's Doug. It's Doug
I was
Quaid.
gonna say Quaid is what I wanted to say, but I didn't think that sounded right.
Do you
Uh,
do you remember what?
we never know for sure if he's in a dream, and then even at the end, it's even more fantastical than it started.
Yes, like we're on another planet. We've
The
sud
atmosphere is
we
breathable.
yeah we suddenly created a
Alien
living
technology in the
atmosphere.
costume.
Aliens, like mutants. I mean, like we're in a completely different place than when we started. Even though when we started, we technically started the movie on Mars in a dream sequence. So we might
But
have
was it a
ended
dream?
exactly. So we might have ended the movie
Every time I watch this movie, I'm more confused.
with a dream sequence on Mars. We never know. That's actually something I really find interesting and I love about this movie. So I actually wanted to talk to you about this, and we'll probably get into a long discussion about it, hopefully. But uh, do you think it's a dream? Like, do you think the whole movie is real? Do you think Quaid actually experienced the movie? Also, side note, do you remember what Quaid's alter ego was?
I do not.
It was Hauser.
Oh yes,
Hauser. I don't remember what his first name was, but it was
how's
Hauser.
I'm sure it's a reference to one of the German bankers who helped pay for this movie.
Probably. Oh, it actually reminds me. His name in the book, which I just have stuff about the book pulled up because I thought it's interesting,
Is Dennis Quaid?
is Quail. Douglas Quail.
And then, Schwarzenegger was just like, well, I don't want to be associated with a little bird.
I'm not a bird.
That's a little bird. There's
I
a there's a nice young actor named Dennis. I'll take his last name.
I could see that being a legitimate concern for Arnold, him saying, I am not a bird.
I'm not a little bird.
Okay,
Yeah, the Governor used to be so cool.
the Governator. Okay, so do you think that so let me just give it to people who
I
are
thought I,
who
I
are
thought I was able to escape
unfamiliar.
the question.
Let's see if I can describe it to people who are slightly unfamiliar. If not, it's
By the
fine.
way, this is Action Jack-Offs, and this is Garrett and Lincoln, and we're talking about Total Recall. Let's.
I know we did not give a formal introduction at all. We just kind of jumped in.
That's all right. It's perfect.
I loved it. I love the way we started this. But so with this movie, Total Recall, I'm sure everybody has heard of it or seen it at this point in time. But basically, like the main discussion with this movie is: did the main character Douglas Quaid, who went in to this company called Total Recall to get a memory adjustment done so that he could live a fantasy life on Mars, and the question that prevails is when he went in to alter his memory and get these new memories implanted, are the rest of the events of the movie what actually happened, or is it simply just him at Total Recall getting his memories adjusted? Is it all fake? Is it all in his head, or is it real? That is the perturbing question that often this movie kind of like pushes on people. And it's funny to me to think about because he goes to Total Recall twice in the movie, or he goes to Recall. I keep calling it Total Recall, but he goes
Roll
to
credits.
he goes to. I have had a total recall, and then like the
Doesn't
theme
he
from
say it
Transformers
towards the
play.
end?
No, I don't think anybody says total recall.
Linkin Park song.
Yeah, yeah. I tried so.
And what I've done.
Yeah, just perfect. Like he looks off into the horizon of Mars, and that song just kicks in, and credits
Because
roll.
towards the end, they're arguing about it, and he's like, but then my mind was already messed up before the Total Recall.
Well, yeah, he's talking to I don't even remember her name in the movie. That's why I have to have it pulled up.
Oh, he doesn't
Uh,
have the cast list pulled up.
Rachel Tacotin, Rachel, Melina,
Rachel?
from the
Rachel?
movie. Uh, she's basically like, look, it doesn't really matter, like,
Ew, not the 2012 one.
cause you're here, you're now. If it's all in your head, then let's just enjoy the moment. You know what I mean? Um, I think I am of the opinion that, and there's a couple of key things. I'm of the opinion that the movie happened all in his head. That's what I think.
It's just too easy.
It's too easy. What do you? So
I hate when
what's your final opinion on that?
I think that it's all real only because the first time that he's in Recall, they're like, well, nothing, something went wrong. Nothing. It never worked.
Like they
Is
did,
like the first hint.
like they didn't implant the memory yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
is
Here's
like the first hint, and then also when he pulls the thing out of his nose, dude is dead. There's no way he
dude's
survived this.
That's why it's
He's
a
the
dream.
crazy animatronic
That's
Arnold face,
my favorite trope of any Arnold movie is the inevitable uh
bulging eyes.
fake head of Arnold. Yeah. We get a couple of fake heads of Arnold in this movie. We get the one uh where he's pulling out the thing in his nose, the tracker. We get the one where he's in that airport, that spaceport, and he like as disguised as the woman, and he like takes her fake head off, and like you see his fake head.
Tuesday, 3 weeks, no
Yeah,
vegetables.
exactly. And I think there's one more. Oh yeah, like when he has that dream in the beginning of the movie, and his like his helmet cracks open, and then like his eyes start bugging out of his head.
Oh,
Favorite Arnold squeal. Also, um, I just wanted to say this real quick before we get back to the main topic. This movie has the best squibs I've ever seen.
it's a Verhoeven special right there.
I think hands down, if I had an award to give for best squibs, I'd give it to Total Recall 1990.
Well, you don't understand that we're about to have a Jackie's Award.
The Jackie's Award. The Jackie's Award. Oh my god, that'd be so funny. When we get to like, okay, I'll tell you what. When we get to like 30, we'll do the Jackie's Award. for 1 through 30. We'll do that along with our
That's so
our
funny.
updated tier list.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
What an idea.
we got to get there first.
Oh, it's so funny.
Um, so you said that you don't think it's all in his head
Only because I
because
hate that as a trope, and because I feel like there's hints. It's like one of those things where it's like in my head canon, it is all real, but the movie kind of wants you to play with that. And as I was like, when I was younger, I was like, well, it's obvious that it's all real. And then every time I watch it, I'm just like,
makes you question things. Okay, well
I'm like,
I've got two things that stick out to me, or
let's hear
I
'em.
guess three things that stick out to me as evidence to why it's all in his head, why it's all part of recall.
Hit me with it.
So the first thing is that when he's at the recall center, they say that uh when they're calling that one guy, like the head guy, back, like the doctors are freaking out. They said that he suffers. We got a schizoid embolism.
Yes, this is what I was mentioning earlier.
Yeah. So, fun fact: schizoid embolism is not actually a real thing.
Really,
Yeah, it does not
I
actually.
thought everything in this movie was factual.
Apparently, it's. I had to look it up. I was like, "What is a schizoid embolism?" And it's not real. It's not a real thing.
It's like North
But
Dakota.
but in this science fiction movie, there's a lot of things that aren't real, but
Yeah.
based in some kind of real science. So
Uh-huh.
we can just assume that he's having. This is what I think is happening. They
Hit me with
implant.
it.
They started the process of implanting the memory, and he had like a negative. His body had a negative reaction to it. He had a schizoid embolism. And so his body is rejecting the memory, but also accepting it at the same time. Like he's getting the memories fed into his head, but he's having a hard time accepting that it's real. Which is why throughout the movie he's there's moments where he debates whether or not this is actually real or this is actually happening. And there's multiple things throughout the movie that make you realize that maybe this is all in his head, because the woman that they give him for his memory, like when they go to give him the woman that's going to be in his memories and they're typing it in the computer, it looks just like Melina.
Exactly.
So we can argue that Melina later in the movie is just an implanted memory that fits all the parameters that he set prior to the memory being implanted. And then later in the movie, when that doctor guy shows up, he shows up and he basically tries to explain to Quaid, he's like, hey, you've had a schizoid embolism, and right now you're basically trapped and we can't wake you up. Because, and this is how I rationalize it in my head, the further along Quaid goes on this journey through his mind, the more his body accepts the memory as being real. So the more trapped he becomes without even realizing it. So that's why he's able to deal with things a lot better, like becoming this master assassin dude who at first is like freaking out that he killed his best friend earlier in the movie and that he had to fight off his wife. Slowly, as the movie goes on, stuff like that doesn't bother him anymore. He's no longer freaked out by the things he's able to do. And then,
Consider this a divorce.
oh, great line. Am I right? Great line. Probably the best like one-liner in the movie. There's three good
It's my favorite.
one-liners. Three good one-liners in the whole movie. You got that one, which I think it just kicks ass. I think it's ruined though by what Melina says right after it when she's like, she unnecessarily adds to it. Where she's like, was that your wife? He's like, yeah. She goes, what a bitch. And I'm just like, you didn't need that. You ruined it. You ruined the moment.
Leave Sharon Stone alone.
And then the next one is whenever he's like fighting off that Benny guy. Is it Denny or Benny?
I think it's Benny.
It's Benny, yeah, the multi-armed guy. Or like the weird arm guy. And he's fighting him off in the tank, and he's got like that drill, and he's like, "Screw you!"
Yeah, it's Benny.
And then like,
Yeah,
punches
screw
him.
you, Benny.
Screw you! It's so good. It's so good. And then the last one is when he's fighting Michael Ironside, Richter, and they're fighting on the elevator, and, and he throws him over the side, and the elevator cuts him off at the arms, and so Arnold's just like standing there with two arms, and throws them down. He's like, "I'll see you at the party, Richter." Just throws throws the arms at him. But anyway,
It made me want to do the one in Commando where he throws the pipe, or maybe it's in Predator where he throws the knife or whatever, and he's like, "Stick around."
stick around. Yeah, that's Predator.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So I
one
wanted a similar one where he says, "Hang around,
hang around, hang around, Richter.
hang around."
Yeah, the one from Commando
See
is
you
where
next fall.
he throws the pipe and it goes clean through the guy,
Yeah, I was mixing those two up.
and he's like, "Let off some steam, Bennett."
Yes, that's what it is.
There's too many good
two
ones.
different ones where you pin somebody to something else, and then it has a dumb line. I love it.
It's so good. Um.
Man,
Anyway,
that's really over the top.
he,
You liked it.
I love
You
it.
liked it.
It was all right. It was good. It was a callback to a completely different actor's set of movies, but I like it anyway. So then the doctor comes in and he basically explains to Arnold, he's like, "Hey, so you're having a schizoid emblem, you're trapped. Take this pill. Also, your wife's here, and I'm here trying to guide you out of this minefield." And Arnold doesn't believe him. And the dude basically explains, "Look, you're a regular guy. I mean, you're a 6'2" bodybuilding god, but you're a regular guy."
You work construction and you look like this.
Yeah.
You're just a normal guy.
You're just a normal guy. You're a normal guy.
You've been pushing too many pencils, buddy.
You've been pushing too many pencils, my guy. And all this stuff. Do you really think you're an actual secret agent who is the only man that can save Mars? Like, just basically being like, how gullible do you think you can be? Now, this is where it gets a little iffy for some people. This is a little iffy for some people, where the guy gives him a pill and he's like, "Take the pill and we will get you out of here." But at the last second, Quaid sees a sweat bead fall down the guy's head, and that's what tips Quaid off to thinking that the guy is lying, that the guy is actually nervous. Because the idea is that if the guy wasn't really here and he didn't really care if he got shot in the face by Quaid, then why would he be sweating bullets?
Sweating bullets.
So then, without hesitation, Quaid shoots him in the face. And
going deeper down the rabbit hole.
Deeper down the rabbit hole, and then that's when like it all kicks off, and the walls. Okay, so this is where I'm jumping in and I'm saying the doctor was telling the truth.
Here we go.
The doctor was telling the truth because this ties back to what I was saying, where the memories are starting to take a stronger hold of Quaid. The memories are making Quaid think that it's all real. So when the doctor is there, the doctor says, "I'm not really here. I'm just a construction represented in your mind." So the memories implanted are they put the sweat beads on the doctor. You understand what I'm saying? Like the doctor's not actually sweating because he's not actually there. The memories are just making Quaid think that he's really there. And another good line that I really like during the doctor's monologue is that he's saying that if you keep going, basically, if you keep going down the rabbit hole, the walls of your reality will crumble upon you, and you'll basically be trapped forever. Like you'll die essentially. You'll be in like a comatose
You
state
really need
for
to
forever.
you really need to read the fine print before you go to these recall places.
Yeah, right. And what happens right after the doctor dies? What happens right after the doctor dies? The walls of the room literally crumble when the guys bust in there.
It's all making sense.
So the doctor. So I take that as a literal truth that the doctor was saying. The doctor was. I mean, obviously the mindscape is making it literal, or it's more, or it's not a very subtle implication of what's happening, but that could be seen as the beginning of the end for what's happening, like the no turning back point. We were at a point where Quaid could have gotten out, but because he spat in the face of the doctor and killed his wife, he's cut off all remaining ties to his previous life. And now he's fully trapped. He's fully ingratiated into the memory implant.
It's all over now.
Now, if that didn't convince you,
He's got more.
if none of that convinces you, I have one more thing. One more thing that is going to tip the scales in my favor.
What's that?
So, whenever he's back at the Total Recall place and he's having his freak out about them blowing his cover and all that stuff, well,
You blew my
you
cover.
blew my cover.
That's great acting right there, where you're just eyeball freaking out.
He's just freaking out. Yeah, no, that's badass. Probably one of Arnold's best acting movies, honestly. Because all he has to do is just act confused the whole time.
Whoa.
Well, I'm not the
Whoa.
I'm not the bird.
It's not the tumor.
It's not a tumor. But he's got
I
a
told
fucking
you.
massive tumor forming in his head from recall.
Yeah.
But the final piece of evidence I have is when he's at recall the first time and he's having that freak out and they go to put him to sleep. What's the thing that they do where they have like those tranquilizers or whatever, or like the little, I don't know what it is, like the little syringe where they snap it into him and then he like
Yeah.
passes out. Well, they hit him in the leg with those things like 9 times, and he's fucking gushing blood from his leg. It's getting all over his pant leg. From then on out, when he's out and about, there's no blood on the pant leg. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
So
So I remember he gets stabbed with a syringe and bleeds, but there's no blood on his pants?
there's no blood on his pants when he leaves. From that point on, that tells me that he never left recall. He's still at recall.
This guy. I'm on your side now.
And I was
The
what
cat is dead.
it was on this rewatch. It was on this rewatch that I noticed that. I was like, okay, because I was looking for any detail that could tip me off to he's still at recall. He's still trapped in the memory implant. When they put him under, my theory is that whenever they said that we didn't implant the memory yet, my theory is that they were full of shit because I'm under the impression that these guys at recall are not very good at their job, or they're pretty
Or
incompetent,
it's already started.
or it already started. And even that sequence is part of the implant. But I choose to believe that they actually implanted the memory, or they were halfway into implanting the memory, and then something went wrong. The schizoid embolism happened. And to cover their own ass, they said we didn't implant the memory yet, but in reality they did. So they could just be lying.
And so
And
he's just having a give me the numbers Mason Black Ops 1 episode.
exactly. And then the whole thing with the pant leg happens, and then from that point on in the movie, he wakes up in the Johnny cab, not realizing this is where I think it makes sense that his memories from that point on are a little scrambled. He doesn't remember getting in the cab. He doesn't remember going to recall. Like, he remembers recall, but he doesn't remember going to recall. So when people tell him that he went to recall and he blabbed about Mars, that's his own memories being mixed in with the implant. And people have speculated on this too, where they'll speculate that why in his memory implant does his wife turn out to be evil, or why does his best friend try to kill him in the memory implant? Well, it's because of the schizoid embolism. His real life memories are being mixed in with the fake memories, and they're trying to cope. His brain, to avoid collapsing in on itself, is trying to cope and make things in his real life turn out to be fake so that the fake memories can take hold.
And it's crazy that all of this is wrapped up in an Arnold Schwarzenegger vehicle for him to have corny lines like, I consider this a divorce.
Exactly. Like, all of this speculation stems from a movie where there's a lady with 3 tits.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what most people remember about it. And there's a scene where a dude comes out of a guy's belly. Or is it his back?
It's his belly. It's his belly. Open your mind.
Open your mind.
There's a really funny Rick and Morty episode where it's just like just those guys, like just what are they called? Quados.
Just the mutants. Yeah, Quado.
It's so funny. It's so funny to me.
Not to be confused with Watto from Phantom Menace.
Yes. No, not to be confused with that guy. Yeah, it's funny. I don't see a credit here for who plays Quado, who voices Quado.
It's very strange.
Because he's like a big part of the movie. I wouldn't even say he's like a side character. Like, he's mentioned constantly throughout the movie. Wow, he doesn't get any kind of top billing. I wish I could remember the name of the guy that held him. Because you had Benny, Helm, Dr. Edgemar, McLean, Ernie, Tony, Mary. I'd have to look it up. I'd have to look up individually.
Down the IMDb rabbit hole.
I'd have to look up who played Quado in Total Recall. Pull it up, Jamie.
I'm trying to find out.
Jamie, pull it up.
Jamie, pull it up.
Quado.
I'm looking. All casting crew. There we go.
Marshall Bell played Quado in Total Recall. He also played George, Quado's conjoined twin. So if you see a George, Marshall Bell. Okay. I see George gets top billing, but they don't credit him as Quado.
Oh yes, yes. If you go to the incomplete IMDb list, it does say George/Quado Marshall Bell.
Oh, does it? I gotcha. It was just a little bit of a weird formatting. That's okay. But yeah, no, that's so in my mind. Our boy Marv is here. What up,
Marv?
He showed up for a little bit. But yeah, I would have to say that I believe that it's all happening in his head. That's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on that. And I have to assume I have to assume he dies. A horrible, painful brain aneurysm death.
Whoa.
I mean, right?
I mean, yeah, it has to.
Now
Ends with a white fade out.
we're doing Total Recall, Marv.
Schizoid embolism, Marv. It's not a tumor.
Um, but you know what's crazy is so this movie.
That it's not butter.
Yes, I love this movie. I feel like I could watch this movie 10 times and not get sick of it. In one sitting, I could probably just play it on loop and not get sick of it, or I could just drop in and be like, "Oh, dude, I love this part." Um, is this probably this is part of the legendary run of Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? You would
I
say.
mean, it has.
I mean,
It would has to be.
this kicked off his run in the '90s.
It's right before Terminator 2. I mean, this is legendary stuff.
I mean, okay, let's go with this.
Hit me with
So
it.
let's say 1987, Predator, banger.
Banger.
1987, that same year, Running Man. Okay,
Yeah,
it was all right.
it's on
88,
the list.
88 was a movie called Red Heat. Apparently, it was bad. Then, same year, 88, you have Twins with Danny DeVito.
No, just
No.
started 90.
90. Okay. So let's just say this. The end of the 80s was kind of like a hit or miss. I mean, he hit it big with Conan. He hit it big with Terminator. He hit it big with Commando, and then he hit it big with Predator. His big misses were Raw Deal, Running Man, Red Heat, Twins, and that's pretty much like the main Red Sonja.
Bless you.
Thank you, which I think is a Conan adjacent movie. It's a spinoff, I believe. But yeah, 80s was kind of like a mixed bag, right? Arnold, you could still say, was probably like the big man on campus when it came to the 80s action movies. I still think Stallone rivaled him pretty well. But then you get into the 90s, and that's where you start getting into some of the big hits. The big hits. You got Total Recall kicks off the 90s. Banger. Absolute banger. Then it goes into Kindergarten Cop. I like Kindergarten Cop.
It's a good one.
I'm not gonna lie. I like
It's in the
Kindergarten
VHS collection.
Cop. Terminator 2 Judgment Day is 91.
One of the biggest action movies ever.
One of the biggest action movie sequels of all time in that movie. And then it kind of like skips around a little bit.
True Lies.
He does like a few music videos, a few TV movies. And then he does a movie called Dave in 93, which I don't know anything about, which I might have to look into after this. Where he plays himself, which is really funny. 93, you got Last Action Hero.
Classic.
And then 94 is when you get True Lies. And I've said this before on the show, but True Lies is my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. It's my favorite Schwarzenegger movie, and it's my favorite James Cameron movie.
Incredible. Incredible take.
Yeah, you like that? Is that a hot take, or is that like a cold take?
It's pretty cold. I think this is only for you,
Heard that.
but I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
I like Avatar, so
I mean, it's Schwarzenegger's best acted movie.
I think it's definitely his most like.
I mean, am I wrong to say it's probably not the
Probably his best performance.
It's probably his best performance, I should say. Whether or not it's
his most realistic person.
Whether or not it's his best movie,
it's up for debate.
Is up for debate. Sure, it's his best performance though.
I think that's pretty unanimous.
Okay. I'm glad.
It's the most human-seeming acting role.
Like we can at least get on the same page as that.
We're on that.
Okay.
I can agree.
Okay. And then it pretty much goes downhill from there. Like you got Junior.
And then he becomes the governor of California. Does Terminator 3.
Well, he became governor in like 2003, right? Or
Sounds
2000?
right. 2005, something like that.
Yeah, probably 2005 because that's when he stopped. That's when there's like a huge gap in his IMDb. I can look it up. I got the computer right in front of me.
We got Google and the power of God at our fingertips.
Actor and former governor of California.
You can do it. Vamp.
Governor years.
Governor
He
years? What do we
served
got?
from 2003 to 2011. So when he was doing
No, it's much
Terminator
longer than I thought.
when he was doing Terminator 3, he
That's incredible.
was he
He's
was
like,
he was
guys,
already the
I'm already
governor.
here.
Yep. So he was actually doing movies or at least some kind of voice work all the way from 2002 to 2005, and that's when he stopped, and that's when he showed up for The Expendables in 2010, which if you go by production standards that would have been 2009, so he was still governor.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Expendables. When's that going to be on here?
Shit.
Should be like the last one, actually.
Good fucking question. When is The Expendables going to be on here? I mean, I would say The Expendables qualifies to be on the show if we've covered just about. If we Expendables 1, give me the cast for it. Pull up. Oh, don't tell me that, Marv. I've been looking forward to watching Long Legs.
Expendables. We got Stallone, Statham, Lundgren, Jet Li, Bruce Willis, Schwarzenegger.
Whoa, hold on. Start at the beginning slowly, and I'll tell whether or not we've covered them. Because I want it to be. We've done Stallone.
We've done Stallone.
We have not done Statham.
We haven't done Statham. We haven't done Lundgren. We haven't done Jet Li. We have done Bruce Willis. We have done Schwarzenegger. We have not done Terry Crews, I don't think.
That one we might be able to get away with not doing.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes we've had.
Because Terry Crews doesn't show up for the. He doesn't show up in the sequels, does he? Does he?
I don't think so.
And then there's Randy Couture in the first one too.
Well, he's a UFC fighter. He doesn't count. Mickey Rourke.
Oh,
we haven't done Mel Gibson yet.
We can do Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man for Mickey Rourke.
I could. Harrison Ford. We have done Jean-Claude.
You're just doing the Expendables 1, right?
Yeah.
Are these all in the Expendables 1? I thought Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Maybe this is the entire cast of people.
Yeah, hold on. Pull up the IMDb.
Yeah, let's pull up the IMDb. All right, it's the same few people except Eric Roberts is in.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is in it too. Okay, so
Hilarious.
Stallone, Jet Li, Lundgren, Eric Roberts is the bad guy, I think.
Mickey Rourke, Terry Crews. I forgot that Stallone wrote and directed this.
It's exactly what I would expect from a written and directed Stallone movie. Okay, so I'll say this. For the main Expendables team, if we can do a Statham movie, a Jet Li movie, and maybe a Lundgren movie, then we'll cover the Expendables.
All we got to do is do Rocky IV. And then watch a Stone Cold Steve Austin movie. And then watch The Transporter or whatever.
Dude, I'll do. Okay, one, I've got a great Jet Li movie for us to watch.
Well, I got a great Stone Cold Steve Austin movie.
Okay, well, let's debate on that. Let's wrap up.
Dude,
Total Recall, perfect. And then we'll discuss what movies we need to watch for these guys.
Dude, I thought we implanted a memory where we were doing the Expendables. I guess I got to get back to reality.
Okay, well, that's gonna. Final thoughts on Total Recall.
It's all in his head. It's schizoid embolism. You've sold me. God, I love this movie. Used to watch it all the time on FX. I remember getting into an argument with my mom that it's never going to come on again because she wouldn't let me finish watching it. And she was like, "That's not how cable works."
That's hilarious. I'll never see it again, Mom.
I'll never see it again.
You've doomed me.
You doomed me. This is an 80-year-old movie.
Um, yeah, total. Basically, my thoughts reflect yours. Total Recall is really good. It's all in his head. Probably one of the best. God, dude, probably top 10 best sci-fi movies of all time.
Sci-fi action, best squibs for sure.
Best squibs already
Jackie's
already up for the
Jackie's
Jackie Best Squibs Award.
it's up for nomination.
Love it. I can't wait to do the Jackies.
It's so funny.
You sold me on that idea.
Immediately.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to be it from us. Don't forget that all episodes of the Action Jack-0ffs podcast go up on the next day on YouTube.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, that's going to be it from us. We'll catch you guys on the flip. Bye, Marv.
Peace.